Good. Next item on the agenda, this is the applications review for Eagle Bay. It's the review of the FEIS.
Hi, I'd like to hand this over to Amy and Ramya to address this.
All right, thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone is well. Amy Mealy on behalf of the applicant this evening. As you know, this has been a long process, a lot of iterations. We represent Eagle Bay. They're looking to develop the old marina. We had basically understood that this was going to be an EIS, and we got started on that a couple of years ago. I think what you have before you tonight is a completed product that has answered basically all of the questions. At the last workshop meeting, we had narrowed it down, I think, to 3 or 4 issues. We sent the board the answers and your consultants the answers to the remaining questions out of hundreds, that we were basically narrowed down to, under 5, I think it was. And I think that I know that Max and John had commented and felt comfortable. We sent sort of a cheat sheet to the board members so that they could see where in the EIS these were addressed. So what we're hoping for this evening is basically acceptance of the FEIS, at which point we'll go to print immediately. And then if my secret handbook tells me correctly, there's 30 days for adoption of the findings, which I know that Max has already been working on. And that's upon filing the notice of completion. So what we're really looking for tonight is acceptance of the FEIS and authorization to file the notice of completion.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mealy.
You're welcome.
What I'll do is I'll go to the consultants first, then I'll go to the members. Max, do you have any comments? I know we went through a lot of the EIS. We had a lot of comments, a lot of meetings, a lot of iterations. What comments you have for tonight? Just to give us an update.
Yeah, so that is correct. We had really whittled it down a lot. The applicant had been responsive to our comments. When last we discussed this issue at a tech meeting, there were just 3 or 4 issues outstanding. The applicant had revised the language in the FEIS in a manner that I felt allows the planning board to make findings with regard to those final matters. And I felt that I if John would confirm and Steve would confirm with regard to those the issue on Tompkins and Beach Road, and the issue regarding the status for the sewer, that the FEIS as prepared is in an adequate state for adoption by the planning board. And as Ms. Mealy has properly noted, based on that, you would have 30 days following filing of the written findings filing of the final EIS to adopt findings. So one thing we haven't discussed is how that meshes with the calendar. I do believe, is there 30 days between now and the next meeting, I guess is the question. And I don't believe there is. The next meeting would be on the 22nd. Today is the 24th. So really, I think if the board was looking to make its findings, it would need to make the findings either, I guess we could go, it's as much as 30 days. So we could shoot to have the findings completed for the next meeting on the 22nd.
I think the 22nd is 30 days, right? Is it from today or from?
It's up to 30 days, so that's the
Yeah,
max.
no,
Yeah.
the 22nd is like 28 days, but you don't need the 30 days. You just
Oh,
have
okay.
that.
That's
You don't
right.
need it.
That's the most you can take.
That's the most, okay.
So we would aim to have draft findings in advance of the tech meeting for discussion by the planning.
All right. All right. John, you have any comments?
No, I think Max has summed it up pretty well. We've had lots of comments over the multiple years we've been playing with this. We're generally satisfied with everything at this point.
All right, Bill, any
Yeah,
comments?
no, I think that like Max and John pointed out, there was a couple of items loose on the last
Right.
TAC meeting that was worked out, so I'm good.
All right. Gene, I know do you have some I know you might have had some comments.
I've had a lot of comments.
I know.
After talking with Mark, who made a visit to the sewer plant, and also looking at what the FEIS was changed to, I feel confident that we can move forward in that area. And my only concern to begin with, so we all understand this, is that I didn't want the door to be closed in case something pops up. As far as the sewer situation, and the door is open, that we're going to mediate the situation between the town and the applicant. So in that area, I'm comfortable. I'm still not comfortable, and talking to Steve a couple of times, with the findings of the traffic installation at the beach and Tompkins, the underpass. Now, my understanding, and I could be wrong, at the TAC meeting, Dave did mention the fact that it all hinged on the county.
Correct.
So we have an email that the county verbally approved. They recognize the existing situation will be improved by the plan effective, which means they're going to give it their blessing eventually. And looking at another part of it, it's going to be the reserve. The survey will be done after the complex is constructed and occupied. That kind of bothers me a little bit. And I thought Dave and Dave, if I'm wrong, let me know. I thought we were talking about maybe doing that after the second building is completed and there's some occupancy in there. I mean, I could see voting on this as it is.
Then the plans that was submitted to the county was prior to us discussing it, and we stand with what we told you. That will be discussed and determined at site plan, but there's no intention to doing this as the last building goes up. That's for sure. But that plan was forwarded to the county prior to our last discussion. That's why it says that.
I just wanted to make the air clear for the board.
That's fine.
But, then at this point, I'm satisfied as long as the door is not closed on the sewer situation and the traffic situation.
Yeah, we still have a whole site plan process to go through. So tonight we're just focusing on the FEIS, but I totally appreciate your
Amy, what I was trying to do, Amy, is I didn't want, don't take this the wrong way. I didn't want the applicant coming back and said, hey, guess what? You voted on this, and that's when, we're not doing it. We don't have that relationship now, but I just, for the record, I think it's proper that we should put it in.
Sure, and I understand that. I think that that's a completely appropriate issue to raise at site plan in terms of the phasing and when we do things, and I think that's within your purview. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Gene. Mark, and I know you've been involved a lot, like what Gene said, looking at the sewer and all that.
Well, I was at the TAC meeting a few weeks ago, and that answered a lot of questions. Spoke to John about some of my concerns about the sewer, and then I talked to Roy down at the treatment plant, and he kind of satisfied my remaining concerns. So I'm actually pretty good with it right now.
All right, good. Jerry, how you doing with that?
Yeah, okay. My initial concern was the traffic, and I'm just glad to see that the applicant has come forward to put in the signal switching system rather than using the stop signs as was first granted during the initial EIS. So yeah, I'm satisfied with that.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Jared. Eric, how about you? You're on mute, Eric? There you are.
No, I'm good. Gene and I talked, and Gene said a lot of my sentiments, so I'm good with everything.
All right, good.
And was the traffic lights and site plan notes. I'm gonna be happy with that.
All right, good. Thank you, Eric. Mike, how about you?
Unmute.
Oh, there he is. Mike, you're on mute, Mike. I think there you are. There you are.
Okay. Basically the same thing they were talking about. We went over most of the stuff before. As of now, I don't have any other questions.
All right.
We went over it.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, and I thank Gene and Mark and everyone who's been on top of this. And like you said, I've been in contact with Max and Steve and Gene and Mark, and we've gone through all of this. I think a lot of the questions and everything's been kind of answered going forward. And I think the applicant has been very receptive to, things that we're going to need down the line. So that's good. Steve, any comments? Are you good?
I think we got to ask Carrie if she has any comments. I don't think I have a note that she was asked.
Carrie. Oh, Carrie, sorry. Oof, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
That's
Carrie.
okay. Yeah, I'm satisfied. I have some questions that'll come up when we do the site plan review, but it's in terms of the FEIS, I'm satisfied.
Good. Thank you, Steve. Sorry, Carrie. You were down on my screen. I didn't see you there, but good. No, I'm good with that. So, like you said, I think if everyone's satisfied, then, I think I'd like to, make a motion to accept the FEIS.
I'll make that
Mr.
motion,
Chairman?
Mr. Chairman.
Wait, go ahead, Steve.
I did circulate a proposed resolution, I believe yesterday or the day before, just so that the board members could take a look at it and be satisfied with what I included in the proposed resolution.
Right. And I think I know I did look at it. And I think we were satisfied, what we've talked about. So, I have a motion. I need a second, and then we'll read the resolution.
Fine, if you'd like me to read it, I would read it.
All right. I have I think Carrie second, or Gene or Carrie second.
Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie. Yeah, yeah, one of us. All right, yeah, Steve, if you want to just go, I guess hit the outlines of the resolution, and then we'll vote on it.
Let me see. Do you want me to read the entire thing? It's about a page and a half. I'll do it quickly. How's that?
Yeah, do it quick.
It is an important piece of business that we've been working on for about 2 years.
Yeah, so I think it's worth us going through it. I agree. Thanks, Steve.
Resolution of the Town of Stony Point Planning Board adopting the final environmental impact statement, FEIS, for the Eagle Bay Mixed Use Development Project. Whereas the proposed action is on a project site located on Hudson Drive, approximately 600 feet north of the intersection of Tompkins Avenue in the town of Stony Point, Rockland County, New York, in the planned waterfront PW zoning district. And this zone is designated for land along the waterfront of the Hudson River in Stony Point. The site consists of a total of 41 acres, of which 26.5 plus or minus acres consist of environmentally restricted areas. The remaining 14.5 plus or minus acres consists of buildable land area. The site consists of 3 tax parcels identified on the Stony Point tax map as 15.05-6, lots 3, 4, and 6. The applicant seeks to construct 4 multi-unit residential buildings, a commercial center building for various commercial uses, a minimum of 100 boat slips, and a pedestrian esplanade along the Hudson River, which will provide the public with access to and enjoyment of the Hudson River waterfront. For the purposes of analyzing cumulative impacts, the site is identified as is identified as prospectively including primarily residential structures with commercial and potentially retail and restaurant uses, a minimum of 100 boat slips, and an esplanade permitting public access to the waterfront. The site contains in excess of 1,200 feet of frontage on the Hudson River. And whereas on December 12, 2019, at the Town of Stony Point Planning Board meeting and acting as lead agency pursuant to New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and its implementing regulations, this board accepted the draft Environmental Impact Statement, DEIS, for the Eagle Bay Mixed-Use Development Project as sufficiently adequate with respect to scope and content for the purpose of commencing public review and comment, scheduled a public hearing, and commenced the required public comment period consistent with the requirements of SECRA. And whereas on January 30, 2020, the Planning Board conducted a public hearing on the DEIS, at which time comment was received from the public. The public comment period was extended and held open to February 28, 2020 for receipt of additional public comment. And whereas the final environmental impact statement, the FEIS, for the Eagle Bay Mixed-Use Development Project was supplied at the direction of the Planning Board to ensure that the Planning Board, as well as other involved agencies and the general public, are able to carefully analyze and take a hard look at the potential environmental impacts for the proposed actions and the measures proposed to mitigate such impacts. And whereas in order to provide comprehensive and thorough responses, the FEIS contains additional information and confirmatory analysis where appropriate to assist the Planning Board in its analytical and decision-making obligations under SECRA. As discussed more fully in the FEIS, the additional information and/or confirmatory analysis contained in the FEIS amplify and examine in greater detail the issues initially examined in the DEIS as a result of comments received from both involved agencies and the public. The additional information and the analysis are consistent with the examination of issues contained in the DEIS and do not result in the identification of any new or different significant adverse environmental impacts. Therefore, the Planning Board determines that the Supplemental Environmental Impact Statement SEIS is not warranted or required and would not assist the Planning Board in analyzing the proposed action and otherwise fulfilling its obligations under SECRA. Whereas the FEIS was evaluated by the town consultants, including engineering and planning consultants, as well as by town staff for substance, completeness, and accuracy, with all concluding that the FEIS is responsive to all substantive comments and recommending that the FEIS be accepted. And whereas this matter was an agenda item before the Planning Board on September 24, 2020 at 7 p.m., and all submissions relative thereto were duly considered by the Planning Board, now therefore be it resolved that having given due consideration to the entire record before it and based on its own independent examination and consideration of the FEIS, including consultation of its engineering and planning consultants, the Town of Stony Point Planning Board, as secret lead agency, finds and determines that the FEIS for the Eagle Bay Mixed-Use Development Project, last revised on September 11, 2020, is satisfactory with respect to scope, content, and substance, and the analysis and conclusions accurately represent the Planning Board's assessment and is hereby accepted, approved, and adopted. And the chairman is hereby authorized to sign this resolution and to permit same to be filed in the office of the town clerk upon payment of any and all outstanding fees to the town, subject and conditioned upon the following. Number one, all of the whereas paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference. Two, the town's planning consultant is directed to take all actions necessary to publish, file, and circulate the necessary notices and the FEIS herein adopted as required by SECRA. And three, this resolution shall be effective immediately.
All right. Thank you, Steve. All right, I have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion on the resolution read by Steve?
Excuse me, Tom, could you have Steve, Brenda Beckley's trying to get on and she can't.
Oh, very good.
Sorry to interrupt, but.
That's all right. They should all be joining now.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Gene. All right. So I have a motion, a second to accept the FEIS. Mary, can you just poll the board?
Mr. Grace?
Yes.
Mr. Jaslow?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Alessi,
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Chairman Tosa.
Yes. All right, so, we've adopted and, Dave, I guess we'll see you, at the TAC meeting.
Yeah, I guess the question is, are you gonna have a live meeting? Because next step we want to do is present the site plan, which, if you picked it up, it's a monster, so we wanted to go
It
over.
is. What I'm working on with the town is, with the senior room to see if we can get it, equipped for the meeting. They're looking, I guess they're looking to get mics to extend, and they've set up the room so it could be space, so I'm just waiting to see if they have all the necessary, equipment in place for us to hold a meeting. And then to see if it'll be, it's set up. So as soon as I find out this week, we'll let everyone know.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank everybody very much, and
Thanks,
I'm
Mr. Mayor.
in the background for your other business later. I know you're looking at the petition before the town board for the base flood elevation, so I'll just be quiet and be around if you have any questions, but I thank the board for their consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Mealy.
Can I ask a question, Tom?
Who's that?
This
Oh,
is
Matt.
Yeah. I just, for clarification, it says, filed in the office of the town clerk upon payment of any and all outstanding fees of the town. Do I have to check with Bill on that before I file the notice of completion? And do you want us, so it says here that you want us to publish, file, and circulate notices and the FEIS. I mean, I would think that's something that I'll provide the notice of completion and work with the applicant who would provide affidavits of mailing.
That's fine.
I think that's, Bill, that's how it works, correct?
Yeah, and is Max asking about fees?
Yeah, that's what the resolution said.
Yeah, well, that's standard language. I mean, obviously, before we sign a map, all fees, inspection fees, and any outstanding fees are that are due are paid prior to signing the map. But
Yeah,
they just came in and replenished their escrow account just less than a week ago, so we're good.
Okay, all right, so I will get on that tomorrow, and I'll be in touch, Amy, with you.
Me, and if you can't get me, Ramya, because I think she's gonna be coordinating the printing of all the documents, so.
Excellent.
We can have a quick call, but we're happy to provide that. Ramya, how long do you think for printing?
I think if we have the notice of completion soon, then we should be done in 2 weeks. We should be in good shape to circulate.
Okay, well, we need to have, just so you know, you need to have this thing filed 10 days before the next planning board meeting on the 22nd. So this should probably go out before the 5th, let's say, or 6th, so these things.
Yeah, we should probably shoot for prior to the TAC meeting, so at the TAC meeting, we know everything's been taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second Thursday, whatever date that is.
The 8th. Yeah, the TAC meeting's the 8th, right, correct, Bill.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll get it done by then.
Okay, great. All right, again,
Thank you, Ms.
thank you.
Mealy. You're welcome, thank you.